So the question was raised, what can be done or what is happening right now in our nation and in the pro-life arena with all these governors, states beginning to pass laws either restricting abortion or proliferating abortion. And what's really going on is the nation is in a window right now where they're seeing, I believe God is divinely allowing them to see, but they're seeing, because of the surge in activity, the battle that has been raging all around us for 5 decades. And because of our current president and his demonstrable stance on life and the policies he has championed and enacted, the other side is very nervous that the right to abortion that they cherish and advocate is about to be disturbed, disrupted, or eradicated. And so what you have is, in a situation in our nation, abortion came into America through the states and then was nationalized by an activist court that, in my opinion, really had no basis for even making such a decision. They acted out of what I think are the parameters set for our judiciary from the very beginning. And they've done this in other subsequent rulings since. But because of that one decision, you pitted all those that were for life against all those that were advocating, whether they understood it fully or not, the death of our human offspring. And tragically, we have killed about 1/4 of our nation's children every year since 1973. That is hard to grapple, but 1 out of every 4 babies that are conceived never leaves the womb because they are aborted in America. And so this battle is raging. Well, the pro-life groups and the advocates have strategically tried to change laws to impede abortion and to help women and men have better understanding of the decision they're making, have better care for that decision, and have a much greater opportunity to understand life than to just be herded in like cattle for the economic benefit of the pro-abortion lobby and industry. And so this is the background of this battle that's been raging for years. Well, now that people are afraid because of the changes in the Supreme Court and where they think the justices might lean, they've been gearing up for a challenge to Roe again that will be significant. But they're worried that this time the justices' ideologies and the medical and technological advances that have shown us the wonders of life in the womb are going to be compelling, and Roe's going to be lost. And so they realize that more than likely this will be kicked back to the states, and the states will then decide. And so what you're seeing right now in the culture is the states that are really pro-abortion in their legislature, pro-abortion maybe even in their voting bloc and in their ideology, they're trying to solidify on state law abortion as it is today on demand. The states that are against abortion in their legislature, in their voting bloc, in their citizenry, they're trying to move toward protecting preborn life to the fullest extent possible. And that's why in states like Georgia recently, the governor there just signed the fetal heartbeat law, which says that you cannot abort a baby after a heartbeat's detected. And that starts between 18 and 22 days, depending on the medical community's research that's released. And this is well before most women even know they're pregnant. So this will effectively outlaw abortion in the state of Georgia, which is fascinating because one of the cases that allowed abortion on demand is not Roe v. Wade, it's Doe v. Bolton. And Doe v. Bolton was decided on the very same day as Roe. They were tandem cases, but it was a Georgia law that was overturned and broadly defined health to include emotional, psychological, financial, all things related to a woman's well-being. And so it basically allowed abortion to go all the way up until birth, as to where Roe had allowed abortion to be unrestricted up until the end of the first trimester. And so these two decisions together are what makes abortion on demand in America. Roe has become popular and it's the signature head case. So that's all we ever talk about in popular culture. But Doe v. Bolton was a critical piece of that tandem ruling. And this new heartbeat bill, providentially, is happening in Georgia. So the place where abortion began on some level, it is now starting to fall. And I believe this is a move of the pro-life movement and of God to see these things come to fruition. So in states like Texas and Georgia, you have challenges because, as I said, their legislatures, their governors, their voting blocs are starting to realize the depth of this atrocity and take action in this great civil rights, human rights movement, if you will, called the pro-life movement, to restore value and dignity to all life from conception forward. The pro-abortion, pro-death side of the debate and the ideology, they are moving toward solidifying this right so that women, not only in their state, but those that could travel to it, could continue it. This is a great evil, but what you're really beginning to see is this manifestation on more of the surface of this fight between right and wrong, light and dark. And so that's what's going on right now in our culture, with New York doing what they did on the anniversary of Roe and Governor Cuomo signing that bill up until birth for abortion. This is New York's reaction to what they fear is coming. And they should be afraid because abortion will not stand and it cannot endure because it is a monstrous injustice. And just like slavery, just like Jim Crow, just like these other great injustices throughout history, it will find its way to the ash heap before it's over because it is not of God.